Good day. Hope everybody out there is having a good one. So, Pearl Jam have just released some new music, and we got a chance to listen to it. Tell you what we think about it real quick. I think sonically they are trying to get back. We'll look at an article that's released from Rolling Stone. It's nice to see that they're writing about music again. Now this new one is going to be due out April 19th via Monkeywrench Republic. Now, I have gotten a chance to listen to it. I think it has some cool grooves. I think sonically they're trying to get back to like I'd say like verses, but this is only the one single, and that can be very deceptive because Gigaton released a single or whatever, or in that time had been released that wasn't anything like the rest of the album was. But also Gigaton, which was released in 2020. I can't believe it's already been that long. Also had some pretty neat things where they were trying different things, and that's one thing you gotta give Pearl Jam is they have grown as a band, and they like to try new things, and that's awesome. You don't have to like every song. That's it's not what it's about. I mean, I don't think there's any artist out there where you like everything that they make or everything is your favorite. Um, and having a band that has really stood the test of time. They're one of the only grunge bands where they're all still alive, amazingly, and they're also all still doing things now. Anybody know them know? If you ever go to a Pearl Jam show or have been to a Pearl Jam show, say in the past even 10-ish years, you can go to their website and you can look that show up and you can buy that show. That's how good of a live band they are. They bootleg their own damn shows. And I think that's great because they they capture that moment, and I think in this world where everybody tries to capture moments on their cell phone and not be in the moment, it's great to be able to be in that moment and then turn around and be like, I want to buy that album when I was in that moment, and show it to people, and show what a cool and talk about the show. It's a little cooler to talk about a show when you can actually show somebody what you were listening to and watching. Um, so now via Rolling Stones magazine, again, like I said, nice to see that they're writing about music. Pearl Jam preview a new album with electrifying single Dark Matter. Now, like I said, sonically, I think it's trying to get back to like the verses sound. But it does have like some pretty cool like retro-ish grooves because they got the organ in there, and which was not something they originally had in their first couple albums, at least. It wasn't something that they played with. They played with like accordion and stuff like that in their Vitology album. And as they went on, obviously, like I said, they have grown. They have additional members now. See, like that guy right there. So, Pearl Jam, via Rolling Stones magazine, have released the new single "Dark Matter." The rising guitar every track is the title track, and first listen off the rock band's forthcoming 12th LP. Can you believe that? Out April 19th, like I said, via Monkeywrench Records. Now, that's a pretty cool name. I go from Gigaton to Dark Matter. Um, Maybe there'll be some like mirroring, because that album was kind of mellow in my opinion. It did have some tunes on it, but from what they're saying in this article, Dark Matter follow up to 2020 was produced by Andrew Watt at Rick Rubin's Shangri-La studio in Malibu. Must be nice. It was recorded in 3 weeks. A news post on the band's website notes that the recording channels the shared spirit of the group's lifelong created confidence, confidants and brothers in one room playing as if their very lives depended on it. I think that this producer knew the best way to catch this band. Um, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to realize that Pearl Jam is at their best when they're live. They could even screw up and sound awesome live. I mean, they're just, if you're not a Pearl Jam fan, then, you're probably not going to appreciate their fan base that has been with them for so long, or even the fan base that has petered off likes to hear what's coming out new. Maybe they're gonna get back to where they started. Now, like I said, they've grown, but they've also turned into this thing that's kind of like the Grateful Dead or Fish, and I think in a way they've kind of taken the place of that for people that like to tour with bands. Now, they had a listening party in late January at the Troubadour in Los Angeles, with frontman Eddie Vedder telling the crowd, "No hyperbole, I think this is our best work." Now, I you know I don't want to play devil's advocate here, or like I said, I like to be optimistic about releases, but of course they're gonna say that. They want you to buy the album. But this new release is pretty energetic, and it's it's not trying to be these intricate riffs. I mean, they're playing some type riffs, and really rocking out. And I think the idea of putting them all in the room together and capturing that is the smartest way to ever record Pearl Jam. That's where you're gonna get the best sound. Now, last month, guitarist Mike McCready told Classic Rock that the album is a lot heavier than you'd expect. There's the melodies and energy of the first couple of records, he said, which is very cool. 10 Verses was my favorite album personally. What was your favorite Pearl Jam album? Did you have a favorite Pearl Jam album? Do you even like Pearl Jam? Is this your first time hearing Pearl Jam? We'll have you all linked up to all the stuff, so go check it out if you haven't heard them. He said, Andrew pushed us to play as hard and melodic and as thoughtful as we've done in a long time. I feel like Matt Cameron's drumming has elements of what he did in Soundgarden. Now, let's not forget, the drummer of Pearl Jam is the drummer of Soundgarden, or was the drummer of Soundgarden. And he really has, taken that place so like seamlessly. And he is like a different drummer when he's with Pearl Jam. But hearing that he's going to bring over, we know Soundgarden was a much heavier band, I would say, than Pearl Jam. Pearl Jam would have to push to be as heavy as Soundgarden could do by mistake. And that's not putting Pearl Jam down at all. It's just they're two different kinds of music. So hearing that, Cameron's drumming has elements of Soundgarden, that tells me we got some heavy stuff on the way. Now, for better or worse, you're going to hear a lot more lead guitar from me. Love the way he said that. Stuff I haven't done in a long time. Usually the first or second takes are the best, and he's right. After that, you start thinking about it, and it doesn't have the feel. But Andrew caught that lightning in a bottle, as they say. Now, he's very right. Now, a lot of times, work when you can like produce something to death. It's so easy to, just turn something, into, it doesn't even have the feeling or the heart that it did. It's like, or when you see something live, it's like, how come it doesn't sound like that on the album? And when you saw Pearl Jam with their first few albums, it was like, and you still do today, but it was like you got exactly what you saw on MTV. You got exactly what you expected. You got to remember, like when Versus came out, we got the release via, I think it was an award show or Saturday Night Live or something like that. Either way, nothing had been released yet. And they came out with Animal, and it was like, whoa, everybody was like, this is going to be awesome. And it was an incredible album from front to back. It's an incredible album. Um, if you shop at Target, I think they got clear vinyls of that album. So if you want to get that on vinyl, there's a place to go check that out. Now he added of working with Watt. He's really a rock guy at heart. I think we're his favorite band. When we were in the studio with him this past year, he really kicked our asses, got us focused on playing song after song. It took a long time to make Gigaton, but this new one didn't take long at all. Now that's exactly what I just said. He's basically like proving what I said. The longer you take on something, the more you produce it, the worse it can get. That doesn't happen all the time. Sometimes stuff does need to be produced in order for it to even be tolerable. But there's times where it's like you're producing the magic right out of it. And it's so awesome to hear, a producer say, you guys take forever to make records. Let's do this right now. That's awesome to hear. Now, wish this guy would get with like Tool or some of the bands that like to take decades between albums, or nice, at least 4 or 5 years between albums. Now, hey, when you're a band like Pearl Jam, you're in a spot where you don't even need to make albums anymore. And that's one of the things I love about Pearl Jam is they do it for the love of music. Like them or not, they are a band that goes out and plays music because they love to play music. Yeah, they're getting paid, but they don't, it's like at this point, they don't need the money. They could all retire right now. I mean, they're all, getting older. If they wanted to stop, they could, and they could live off the royalties and live as happily as they wanted to for the rest of their lives. But they still do it. And that really shows something that, and when there's that love there, you're not just making the album because, okay, we got to do a follow up to Gigaton. Shit. What do? We got to make something better because I don't think people like that one. I really don't. I don't think people liked it as much. And I think that's why they got Andrew Watt. They were like, we're starting to lose our way, I think. Maybe they thought, maybe they were thinking, we're starting to kind of lose the Pearl Jam in our Pearl Jam. And I think Andrew Watt is trying to put the Pearl Jam back in Pearl Jam. They've they got excellent albums. They do. And they got albums that are just awesome rides from beginning to end. They also have some albums that are hit or miss. And, they're not something that you really care to just, put the whole thing on. Sometimes it's a little too melancholy for you, or sometimes it's just a little too off of base of what you want to hear when you're wanting to listen to Pearl Jam. I'm looking forward to this. I think, looking at some of the albums that Mr. Andrew Watt has worked on, and hearing this song, I think we're gonna get maybe a new like Pearl Jam that like this will pick up kind of where Versus and even Vitology left off. It would, I would love to see an album that's like Versus or even 10. And if they could get that, plus they have, keyboards and organs and all that mixed in, that they could really have some magic. And if everything is what it says, like I said, I'll have you all linked up to the song, the articles, all that stuff. I'll have you linked up to Pearl Jam's website, all the places you can go find Pearl Jam. And like I said, if you've seen Pearl Jam in the last few years, you can go get that show and you can buy it and they will send it to you. We even have one. So, here. So yeah, they come in a cardboard case. I mean, they're really, simple or whatever, but yeah, the whole show will be right there on CD for you, which I think is very cool. I think, you can't do that with very many bands. Back in the day, you knew that live albums were, kind of meshed, shows that they mixed together, plucked, and, they made a live album out of, different shows. And every once in a while, when you'd read the liner notes or whatever, you'd be like, hey, I think I was at this show. And it's like, I'm one of those people cheering. And with them, you can know and you can show people that, hey, look how cool this was live, and also relive your experience in a way. And I think that's very cool. And I think that's something that's lost today and I think that's why some bands get mad about the phone thing and the cameras and all that, is because they want you to be in that moment. They're making this music for you, and they're coming to play live for you, to party with you. They want to, it's like they invited you, 20,000 of their closest friends that they have in the state that they're in today. And, and that's, there's something to be said for that, and I get it. And it's very cool that Pearl Jam has a way to be like, hey, you can put that phone down and live in the moment, because we'll have this bootleg for you and all set up. So, yeah, very cool stuff. Take a listen to the song. Let me know what you think if you've already heard it. Tell me. Around here, what we do is we try to, find new music, new stuff. We follow suggestions. We follow the comments of what people say. Instead of following algorithms, it has led us to find music that we never would have found any other way. So if you take a look around, I guarantee you're going to find something that not only haven't you heard before, but stuff, you're going to find things that you didn't even know were humanly possible. I guarantee you that there's people out there doing amazing things, incredible things. And I mean, from wee little tots to grown men hitting pitches that are off the scale. So yeah, take a look around. We got a lot of stuff from all over the place, all sorts of different genres. If you got an artist or somebody that you think we should check out, please leave them in the comments, and we will do our best to get to them as fast as possible. We got tons more news, reviews, reacts, all that stuff coming up. And hit the subscribe button if you want more awesome stuff and some music news. And like I said, let me know what you think. Are you optimistic? Are you looking forward to it? Are you just over Pearl Jam? Let me know. And above all, have a great day out there. Hope it's going as good as it possibly can be. We'll see you in the next one.